Hello
Hello,
there.
everybody.
Wake up,
At,
John.
at least he didn't do the
Hello.
one that hit play.
Yeah, it's we don't have a lot of good options. Either it's forever, too short, versus hit play. Hello, everybody. We are the Jedi Archives. We're doing the Skeleton Crew After Show finale. If you're new to the show, introductions are in order. I'm Jonathan,
I'm Mike.
I'm Bryce.
and today is it, or I guess this week is it. This week is the finale. What show were we watching
Is it
again?
though?
What
Is
were we
this
watching?
it?
Skeleton
I forgot.
Crew.
Uh,
It's a finale.
Episode 8.
I thought we were watching Treasure Island.
Yeah, episode 8 finale.
It's been a wild ride, haven't it? You guys? First of all, are you guys happy? Sad? What are your emotions right now?
Oh my god, God, you're making me tired.
I liked
Um,
it. I thought it was a good show. It was a good Star Wars show, good kids show. I'm sad that there's no more Star Wars to look forward to for a little bit. At least until Andor kicks up.
I
Um,
think that's okay. I
yeah, I
think
think
it's
it's okay
okay
too. It is
because
okay.
I think Marvel's got something coming out every other week, and I just feel like that's just fatigue. That's just going to be fatigue.
That's true. That's true.
Well,
We're getting
I
some hype.
I, I kind of like it. It is a little sad because there isn't really anything on the horizon except Andor. But Andor isn't for everyone. Like a lot of Star Wars fans like it, but not all Star Wars fans like it. It's like kids don't really care for Andor. Really, it's not a kids show. So it is definitely more segmented audience.
I think
And
this one will be a little bit different though because we're not getting just one year; we're getting
4 years.
the other four.
yeah,
Mhm.
but it's still it's very lack of the Force too. So it's very different Star Wars too. So, but yeah, I definitely see how it can be a little sad. We don't really have we have the
I mean, I could
Grogu
start the
movie.
rumor mill that I heard.
Go ahead, do whatever you want.
Since we're on
What
the
did you hear, Bryce?
topic,
What did you hear, Bryce?
there was a rumor that Cameron Monaghan was seen on some filming locations of Andor season 2. They could not
Oh, I heard
confirm
that
whether
too.
he was. Yeah, they couldn't confirm that he was actually there to participate, but he was there.
I heard that
So
too. I didn't hear that he was seen in
everybody's
any
been
of.
clamoring for live action Cal Kestis.
Yeah.
Um, so
It would
yeah,
be a cameo at best. At best, if it wasn't Andor, I would love it for a
I
little
get it,
show.
but I
But yeah,
mean that would be something
yeah.
different.
I really don't care. I love Andor. Andor's
Yeah.
absolutely my kind of show, so I love Andor.
Yeah, I mean
Anything Star
outside
Wars
of
is your kind
Vader,
of
like
show.
Rogue One
Like you
didn't
like the
have
little
anything.
Jedi archives, the little kid show. You love all Star Wars. Everything Star Wars is your show, Mike.
No, no, I do
Yes.
love all Star
There's
Wars,
never been a
but
Star Wars like that's not my genre. I don't care if that's Star Wars.
no, but you know what? But Andor is at the top of the list, my favorite of the Star Wars shows that have come out. So if I have
I
to
agree
rank
with that.
them,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. But on to after show for Skeleton Crew. So it is the. So do we want to just do we want to talk about just this episode or the entire series? What should we do,
Well, I
guys?
think we need to talk about this episode, and then we can just give a
Okay.
synopsis at the end
Okay.
of what we think.
Okay. Fair, fair. So just for this episode alone, I like that it started up right at the very ending of the previous episode where Jod,
Yeah, I think it was a
he
good thing.
has a lightsaber out and it was
Yeah,
very ominous and it starts out, in the dark and you hear the lightsaber, right?
Thank you for bringing that up because that was actually odd. It was very threatening at the end of the last episode,
Hmm.
and then almost silly at the beginning of this episode. He's like, "Oh yeah, I have my lightsaber for no reason. I'll just put it back away."
Yeah.
Totally undercut the threatening of the last one. I did think that it's like if you're talking to a police officer and he's talking, he just whips out his gun and starts pointing it around, his hand on the trigger. So, like, and then puts it away. He's like, "What was that for?" It's very, uh, he doesn't need to
It was very
arm
theatrical.
himself like that. It was
Yeah, very
very
theatrical.
it undercut the
it was very Jod.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they don't know
Very
that.
John.
The parents are like, "Why is this guy whipping out his
Right.
weapon right now?"
That's exactly that's exactly it. Is the kids knew, but the parents didn't.
Yeah, so it was
And
interesting.
so he kind of played it off
But
as
I think
such
that's
at
the
that
point. It
point.
was more for the kids, like a reminder for them.
Yeah.
But because the parents weren't threatened at all,
I
because
would
they
have been
think he's
like,
an emissary.
What is this ding dong doing?" It's like,
Well, the
like,
thing
Mm-hmm.
is
put it
too is like
away, put it
the
away.
parents the parents um didn't
It was
seem
uncalled for.
shocked by it at all.
Mm-mm.
Right? They were like, "What is that?"
Oh yeah, I
No.
think they had a lot of emotions. Yeah, because we were shocked watch as viewers because like, oh my god, he just pulled out his lightsaber in front of them. It's a very interesting moment, like very threatening. And the parents are like they're going through everything. They just got their kids back who's been missing. So I could guess how they're all over the place. But yeah, to me it was very
Mm-hmm.
odd. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it goes from there to telling them that, the Undersecretary Farrow's like, I hope they weren't too much trouble, and he's like, oh, they
Right.
absolutely were. And
Yeah.
she's like, huh? It's like usually it's like a nicety. I hope they weren't so much trouble, and you're supposed to say no trouble at all, right? That's like the normal niceties of non-talk
Right.
that you
But
use,
he
and
needed
But
he's
them
like,
you just
away from what
yeah,
his
yeah.
end game was.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you
and so
just
he's like,
rescued somebody, but like, this person shouldn't have been doing that. It's usually like I get how Mike's saying, yes, like, oh, we're all
yeah,
good, we're all safe and sound now. Yeah.
yeah, and he's like, make sure that they're watched, put them away. Uh,
Yeah, which it was that turned against him real quick.
like, I need to get my ship in here real fast. Let's go talk to
The
the
supervisor.
supervisor.
We
He's
got
like,
the
sure.
big reveal.
Which
Hmm.
I think most of us thought it was going to probably be a droid. At least
Hmm.
some part of us thought at least one of our guesses was a droid, and
Yeah.
no, I don't think
Well,
anyone was too surprised.
that it was a
Yeah,
droid now.
yeah.
Right, right. And it was pretty much like we had thought that it was similar to the planet
But what
where
I
there was a big gun on the school, and
we guessed that. But what I didn't know is I don't know if it was quite said, but has anyone seen the supervisor before? And so I first thought maybe like some people have seen it, but then how dusty that room was, I'm like, no one's ever been in this room. So then I just didn't really know. And
Well,
the mom wasn't
Fern's mom had,
surprised it was a
yeah.
droid, but
hmm
I just it was they didn't they never specifically say. They just said it's a great honor to meet the supervisor. What they said. I'm
hmm
like, yeah, but
Mhm.
has anyone seen it? They like I kind of didn't
Well,
quite hit
Fern's mom
that on it.
said that the summons didn't happen very often, so she was aware that being summoned by the supervisor was definitely something that didn't regularly happen.
Well, yeah, just
hmm
But
like the
we have no
emissary
idea
coming.
what the yeah,
Yeah,
like we don't have any idea what the last time was,
yeah,
but the fact that she's aware of it at least means
yeah.
it could have been 10 years ago, right? That
hmm
somebody was summoned in there. I mean, yeah, things get dusty.
Yeah.
Especially when the only thing in there is that big droid, basically. Looks like a um kind of like an astromech head.
Yeah.
hmm
And then you have security droids and you have all the wires running from that main droid to the things. There's nobody personally in there. I doubt they have maid droids going in there and cleaning things. So
Yeah, yeah. It reminded me of like the Wizard of Oz. How often did the wizard entertain guests?
right,
Right.
exactly.
So it's not
Yeah,
very
it still got that
often.
Wizard of Oz vibe, even though it was a droid and not like a masquerade hologram or something
Did
of somebody that is
did I
not
go over the
there.
Wizard of Oz connections on this with you guys or no? How this is a lot like Wizard of Oz. How you got Wim who's trying to find his way home. He's Dorothy. You got Neil's trying to find his courage. You got Fern trying to find her heart, and you got KB trying to find her brain.
He be's the smartest one.
Well, she lost her brain. I mean,
Oh my gosh, Jonathan.
Jonathan.
but then Neil trying to find his courage, and Fern trying to find her heart. Definitely, she had no compassion for the other kids, and she had pretty much had to find
Yeah, but I
compassion
wouldn't.
for.
I wouldn't say Wim is Dorothy. Wim was all about going out and
But
seeing
so was
things, and
wasn't Dorothy all about that until the shit hit the fan? Oh, the stuff hit the fan.
no.
Then she was
I,
like, "There's no place like
I
home."
mean,
But
she did finally
in the
say.
beginning, she didn't
I
want to
think
be
she
home.
was. No, I think she wanted to
I
get
think
home
that was
from
the
the
whole moral of
start.
the story. Originally, it was about she didn't want to be there because she hated the farm. She wanted to go
Right.
away, and then when
Right.
she gets there, she's like, "You know what? There's no place like home." And so I
Right.
think that
And
was
Wim had that same realization too.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
just kind of draw some parallels,
Loose.
and then
Yes.
and then the wizard, obviously. So yeah, I
Hmm.
heard other people mention those parallels before. Yeah, there are some different parallels there. Kind of cool to think
You
about.
know what I saw too? What it gave me the feels when they first walked in there to see the supervisor, and I saw those like wires hanging in above him. It did look
Mhm.
Captain
like
EO.
Captain EO, yes, when the right didn't it? I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
she's gonna
yeah.
come out from the top, like it's gonna be her, but
That'd have
no,
been
it
a
wasn't.
trip.
But it did look like her, like she was gonna come out from Captain EO, so that was pretty cool. But also
Did
the
it,
supervisor's eye, it looked like I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that, Dave, from from 2001, Space
is
Odyssey.
that what that is?
Oh,
I was
see,
like, I was
I
trying
thought it
to.
was more of like the computer in Wally.
No, I thought the evil computer in 2001.
Did
Yeah, I
it?
went to Wally with the big red eye because
Did the big
the
droid
captain.
sprout legs at the end right before it died? Did you guys
Arms
catch
popped out.
that?
Yeah, big
Yeah,
arms
It was,
popped
it was
out.
like it
Yeah,
was like crab
yeah,
legs or something came
like an
out, and then
octopus.
nothing
Yeah,
happened. So
because he like
yeah. It kind of reminded me of what are those one droids that have like the four walking things, and they actually have like almost like a big red eye, but they have a cannon sticking out that looks like their
oh, the
nose.
spider
oh
droids.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what that reminded me of, just
but a
without the
giant one,
cannon.
right?
Uh,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. It did. Yeah, it was starting to prepare itself for to attack, like to protect itself, but Jod was too
right,
quick. Yeah, and we
right.
did
And
get
then
some
Hope
all the
background
inside.
on Jod
droids,
too. What?
and then he realized at that point he's like, "Oh crap, I don't have the droids here to help me."
Yeah, because
So
Jod was too
then
quick.
that's when he turned and started threatening Fern and Fern's mom.
Hmm. And he was force sensitive, and he
We
did
did
receive
get that
some training.
confirmation.
Yes, and he got some
Yeah.
training from a Jedi, but not necessarily. He was never really in the Jedi Temple. He was just
Yeah, and I'm
discovered by
trying
a
to
Jedi
think. He said he had to watch her be hunted down.
after Order
Um,
66
and
and killed. Yes.
did he say Order 66? I didn't catch that part.
I don't think he said the words Order
Well, but
66.
it had to have been after that time, though.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I
It
felt
was
mean,
like
definitely after that
we're
time.
past Return of the Jedi now
to me
Hmm.
with
it
this
felt
show.
like maybe Order 66 already happened, and then the Jedi found him, and they kind of raised him in the wild, like let's say some
Hmm.
of our heroes have Ezra or Luke,
Right.
not going to the temple or anything, but raised by like
Right.
a hermit, and then maybe
An
eventually some
Inquisitor found
inquisitors
them,
found them. Yeah,
found
that's what I
her.
kind of got out of it.
That's what I thought too. So actually, Jod is one of the what did he call?
Oh, they did have a term for that, the
Remember
wild Jedi
the
or whatever. Yeah,
Wolflings, or what are they called?
yeah.
Oh, what Balin had called him
Yeah,
in Ahsoka? Yeah, I can't remember the term.
the Wildlings. But yes, that term.
The rule of
Yeah, it's
Jedi.
something similar to that. Definitely
Yeah.
started with a
So
W.
that's really what he is. So he's tricky because he's not really evil, but you can see that he's so damaged, and so all that
Yeah.
trauma has
Well, it hasn't got to him that much, which is good. Which is, I mean, he's had some serious drama. This is a very good, great thing on him. He's such an amazing actor, but he had never crossed that line of super evil. Even only person he killed was the person that was going to kill him, which was Brutus. Brutus says,
Brutus.
"I'm going to kill you no
Right.
matter what."
Right.
So
Right.
Even at the point where he like
Jedi.
could have killed, huh?
Jedi. Bokken.
Oh yeah,
Bokken Jedi.
Boken.
Boken.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
Boken.
yeah.
Rhymes with broken. Yes. Hmm.
He's like, sounds like he's in
Yeah, it
a
was.
van driving around,
He
living under
said
bridges and stuff.
story. He said that story, but it was almost then like, this isn't spoiling the episode, but obviously the way the credits ran, we saw, somebody training the Jedi, and I wonder if that's the story that played out. And it
It
didn't
was
look like
really
it.
interesting. I don't know. We're going to talk about the credits, but like some of them were, I felt like were real clips from movies, and some were just like, I don't know this scene from a movie. It was very interesting clips. Those 3D art panels that were coming up at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah. It almost was like it was kind of telling John's story to me, anyway.
I felt like
Going
obviously,
planet from planet to planet. I felt like there were very similarities with at least the two characters that we see, one with the blue lightsaber, one with the green lightsaber.
honestly, it
And
felt like a
then,
video game, a story almost like because this is a really interesting story you're watching,
yeah,
and I was like, I
I
couldn't
thought those
like.
were. I thought those were just stories from Wim's little iPad. That's what I thought
I
those
mean, it could
were.
have been,
and
but it was
it
very
could have been
interesting.
as simple as that. But remember, like, if you watch the Willow series, right? Like, they put the book back. We saw the whole
The book.
show, and then the book closed, and the book went on the shelf, and you saw volume 2, volume 3, and
Hmm.
everybody got excited. And then Lucasfilm
Which we'll
said,
never get.
but anyway, but you know what I mean? Like, I
Nobody
felt
likes
Yeah.
like
it.
it was that kind of thing. Like, we watched Skeleton Crew through Wim's tablet, and now that the story's done, the tablet's shut off.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad you brought that up because it's definitely interesting images. So maybe we'll get answers on it. Maybe we won't. But it made me think. I'm like scratching my head on those some of them.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to get some books now, some comics or some like books and some toys and stuff, Skeleton Crew related. That would be fun.
It'd be all right.
It would be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll buy it,
Hey,
John.
I know we touched on it earlier, but I just want to toot my own horn on that cannon thing. I knew that was coming back. I
The
definitely,
what?
I was like, the
The
cannon on
cannon
top of
at
the
the top
school.
of the school.
I
Oh,
predicted. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Neil knew
definitely,
what he was doing.
yeah. But that was,
Hashtag Neil Nation.
Neil is, he's quickly becoming one of my favorites of the show. He's just a innocent little kid. He's a cool kid.
Yeah.
I was happy that Wim picked up and ignited the lightsaber. Like, that just made me happy.
And it wasn't upside down.
Correct.
He like, oh, and he flipped it. Did you see he flipped it around? He learned his lesson. Yeah. It was good. I liked it. And I liked a lot of things. And I liked that it did catch all the loose ends because she did end up calling Kim. They got the
Yep.
ship out and she called Kim, gave the coordinates, and I also like that at the end when the ship gets shot down and
Yeah.
it crash lands and John didn't have to be like that. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. So because he really didn't want to kill anybody. And everyone that we met that crossed his path, he didn't kill them. They actually did survive. I mean, he left them like in a pool full of eels or whatever, but he never actually killed anybody. So he
Yeah.
did do them wrong. He did them dirty, but he didn't kill them. So he's not that terrible
He's
of a
still a pirate.
character.
He's still a pirate, just
He's still a
happens to have a
pirate,
conscience.
but he doesn't kill them, except for Brutus. But Brutus
Yeah, but
deserved
he,
it.
like, brutally killed Brutus to play on
Yeah, but
purpose
Brutus
there.
deserved it. Yeah,
But
but
to
Brutus
me,
was just
like,
gonna like throw him out the airlock.
yeah, I think he almost. How many of you like wouldn't have done that? Really, someone's like, "I'm gonna kill you no matter what once this is over," and it's just like, even if you show them all the world treasure in the world, they're still gonna kill you. That's a kind of a
Yeah.
tough one. Like, yeah, self-preservation might come into play there.
Hmm.
Whether that's brutal or not, but yeah, that's a tough one. It's a tough moral dilemma.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
I
was
want to talk about some of the mysteries. Remember, I had a list of mysteries last episodes.
oh
I said
yeah.
I want to make sure some of these get solved. I'll just go on order, and one of them was the mystery of Atten. We didn't really get solved, but actually I'm okay with it because we did get a little information. Last time they did communicate with the Republic was right before Order 6, right during Order 66, I guess. So, because that was what the message to the Jedi are now
Yeah, the
betrayers.
last message they got said that the Jedi were traitors.
Traders. Mm-hmm.
So that does put us a little more of a timeline, which it does help. It does not tell us what happened to the other Akrons and stuff like that, why those all destroyed and stuff like that. But that does help a little bit. Still some mystery there. That is one I definitely think we'll get more information the way of Mike and other forms of media, comics and stuff like that. I definitely could see
Well,
some more
there's
information.
the complete locations is getting updated, and that is coming out. I want to say I have this in my notes too.
I like how it was called Atten, like Atlantis.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too. I didn't really catch that part, but yeah, another secret city.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas is driving me nuts today, man. He wants to play so bad. Some of the other mysteries I was worried about was
Yeah,
Josh.
March is when that comes out.
March. Yeah.
Yep. So it would be interesting if they dive into that at all.
I do hope we do get some comics and not just an encyclopedia like paragraph or so. I would like to know more the story of all that, but hopefully that's one I definitely think will get answered. That though.
Yeah, it's hard to say with how where the state of Star Wars comics are right now. It's hard to say what they're doing because they're just doing the 12 issue Battle of Jakku, but within the 12 comics are like 4 part like books, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So there's that. High Republic's coming back, but I mean only for a limited run. So be interesting to see what they do. I hope I would love a comic series of something.
Yeah. No, it doesn't have to be based on it. It could be something else, just like how
it could just be a standalone, a one-off.
Oh no, just how in this we got the High Republic comics phase 2. We got Jeddah stuff in it. It wasn't necessarily about Jeddah. It just gave us some information about Jeddah in it. So that's how they can work stuff into. Any way they can work it in would be nice.
Well, no, the one book was solely on the Battle of Jeddah and did explain.
Yeah, but phase 2 wasn't like about Jeddah. It was they could have put any planet there, but they worked in Jeddah to help us fill in our blanks. Huh. What was we had 2 other mysteries. What were they? Oh, the Captain Renard. Did not get any extra information on that. But that one could definitely be solved through, like you said, more comics and stuff like that.
It'd be kind of cool if you got a one shot.
Yeah,
I think if you even did a 4-part miniseries with Renaud, you could get the story of Atten because that's where he ends up anyway. Like you could do that probably in a 4-part comic. That would be really cool.
That's true because that would kill 2 birds with one stone. I think that would solve
a couple mysteries.
Well, it could even be a young adult book. Aren't they doing that with some of the Acolyte stuff? Some of the prequel Acolyte stuff. They're doing some young adult books.
Acolyte stuff is.
It doesn't even have to be comics. It could be just 1 or 2 little books and help wrap some stuff up.
Yeah, they've got.
Probably they're going to wrap up the ending of the Acolyte too with some books.
No, it's just this. Well, they might, but it's dang it. What is it? Wayseeker and the Crystal Crown are Acolyte books, I want to say junior novel and young adult
Yeah,
novel for those.
but yeah, those don't. They're gonna be probably small, couple hours on an audiobook. So, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a good way to wrap up some of the stuff for Captain Renard too. Oh, and then the last mystery was the supervisor, but we got that one. So
Mm-hmm.
we got some. There's still
But then we were
speculation, but
still left with a lot of questions.
yeah. So I'm saying not everything's wrapped up, which is nice.
No.
Enough to keep it interesting, but enough for me to be like satisfied with the answers we got. I was like, okay, so he was trained as a Jedi, never officially became a Jedi, stuff like that. So definitely satisfied with a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, because I, obviously they took the barrier down,
They
and you
did. It
could
was
tell,
destroyed.
you could tell everybody was like, what are those? Like they hadn't ever
Stars.
seen stars
Mm-hmm.
before. Um, so we know that like really the field, that like like the force barrier nebula, obviously provided them with like some light and dark, so they could tell night and day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so seeing that, I mean, it was cool because obviously once the droid's down, like it didn't take KB, Wim, and Neil any time to hop on their hover bikes and come to the rescue because they knew that Fern was still there. That was really cool. But when Jod was seeing everything go down in flames, he kind of looked, but then right at the end, he had this smirk on his face, like he's already thinking about how to either make this work to his advantage or get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Like at
Yeah,
this point, like wow, there's no barrier. Well, man, now I can steal a ship and get out of here.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I'm thinking his plan to escape is kind of what went through my mind. What was going through his mind at that moment, and yeah, I mean,
although he wants the credits, so maybe he just surrenders and becomes part of the great work.
I think the great work's probably done.
Okay.
I don't
We
know.
don't know because we
Yeah,
don't
that's what I'm
know
saying.
who's on
Yeah.
that dang ship that flew in right at the end.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know what the great work is because it was a closed system. They were never going out and nobody was ever coming in for any shipments.
Right.
So they were
That
always waiting for
that
an emissary. Like no one ever came because they're like, when are you going to start loading? They're like, when are you going to load up? They were expecting
yeah,
him
Right.
to load up the ship.
it
He was
was
the first
interesting when you
emissary to
really
come
really
in.
think about their society. Like, what are the data analyzers doing? And like, what are they? And it's like a very
But I want to know
interesting.
how they were making how they were making that kind of credits. Obviously we know there was 1,139, vaults that were full of credits. And you almost wonder like what were those credits going to fund? You know what I'm saying? Like you don't just build credits and just say, hey, we're going to build a bunch of credits and then you guys can just pay for everything
Well,
because
they're
that's
probably
not.
waiting for a recession or something just to flood the market, something like that.
But I'm just curious,
Stimulus checks, anything like
what they
that.
were what they were kind of what they were funding, I guess. That's kind of a mystery. Again, you get it's not the Tantive 4, obviously, but you get, that similar Corellian ship in that looks a lot like the one in the sequel trilogy. So who's on it? Like, and what happens? So now I'm like, well, what happens to the planet? Like,
Yeah,
there's
that's
Mhm.
got to be something, right?
what happens to the people. They don't answer any of that, and I don't think. I think they
What
did the
happens to all the
obviously.
credits?
Yeah.
Right.
So I think.
Don't get me wrong, I loved this episode, but
Yeah.
man, it was like once that ship flew in, it was done. I'm like, no.
Now, now that we got there, that was a little bit of a one of the few negatives was that ending felt really rushed. It's just like, okay, don't get crushed by the ship. We're over. That was the end. I was like, oh, I even rewound it. Was like, did I miss a scene or something? Felt
Mhm.
very. There's no.
I didn't think it was rushed, but it definitely like
There's no closure,
hung the
kind of with it.
carrot. The
Yeah.
carrot's there.
Yeah. So yeah, that, and I think part of that is for me the feeling odd, the little weird feeling is because I said this before. The episodic nature of the series kind of, I think, to me, hurt it a little bit. It would have been better if it
Mhm.
just all would have been. I mean, maybe episode 7 and 8 were together, but there was too many like 15-second roller coaster
No, but you're
rides.
right because
Yeah,
there's no closure. We don't know what did happen to Jod.
yeah. We
Right.
never
We
know what
don't
happened
know.
to the people, anything.
No,
Really, we just know they're safe. That's all we know.
not the
Yeah.
people that whose houses got crushed when that big ship
Well, to me,
exploded.
honestly, like, do they even stay on the planet? I'm like,
How are
do
they
they
gonna
go
get off?
back?
They don't have spaceships.
Well, that's what I'm
Right.
saying.
Exactly.
Well, think about it. That the
I mean,
probably
it
enough
doesn't matter now.
credits.
Like
Yeah,
people can come ship them off the planet now if they need to
That's
be
true.
because the barrier's down. So
yeah.
like I think, but I still think with all the credits and the way that the thing ended, like there's still more to tell. Like what is going to happen to Adam? And does the New Republic help them out? And do they go to at Akron? Do they help them out? Like because we know that that's what they're trying to do. Or do we see
And do they go
some
help the
resemblance to the
do they
First
go help
Order?
the other jewels of the old Republic?
Right? Yeah.
The
Because what?
other
There's nine of them.
there's nine. The other seven
Nine
at
total.
right. The other
The
besides at
seven
Akron.
ats.
Mhm. All the
So
other ats.
that
Mhm. All the other
so
at
well,
ats.
other AT-ATs. So to me, it's intentionally done, but not for. There's a part of it intentionally done so there's opening. You can do more stuff, but really, this story, once it was over, I felt like they did safe by hardcore fans, their nostalgia fans. It was a safe series, but it's really for kids. Kids probably don't care about that stuff. What happens to all
That's
the
true.
credits or what happens? They're safe.
Mhm.
That's all the kids really want to know. And so I
Yeah,
think,
Sophia was super happy with the episode.
yeah. So us, we're
Yeah.
like, well, we want to know more information. So it's
Bad guys lost, good
definitely,
guys won. That's all that mattered.
yeah. Definitely, the kids are safe. They're with their families. So it's for kids. Definitely driven that home at the end for me.
Yes.
Even the one that the Brutus, you don't really even see him die. He's off screen kind of. So it's like it's definitely for kids and safe for us. And so
Mhm.
I think they hit a home run at what
Mhm.
they wanted to do. So I'm definitely glad with everything about it. It's just the one thing it did was feel a little too episodic, too short, and then the end felt a little rushed. But still,
Yeah.
very happy about everything about
Yeah,
it.
But we
I
also
liked
got to
it.
think back in like 2022 when this was done filming. I believe there was intent to have a second season. From my understanding, a second season has been greenlit, but is it going to, are we going to watch this 3 or 4 years in the future kind of thing? Or are they going to try to do something different with a, different group of kids or something? I don't know.
It's really tough because I don't even know what else is left of the story that's entertaining enough. I mean, we want to know what happens to them, but is that enough for a series? What happens to the people of Atan? They gonna live on another planet? So it's kind of
No, I
like,
mean, I don't. I think I wouldn't mind seeing another season, and I don't care about the time cap. Maybe they do go off on their own. Maybe they're like, I'm not going to stay here. Like I've got my crew, and we're going to go, explore the galaxy. You never know. You know what I
so
mean?
yeah,
Like
it
maybe
would
they
have
just
to
become
be,
treasure hunters.
yeah. I don't think Neil wants to do that. I think Neil wants to have his bubble baths. Stay
He's always
home.
having bubble
I
baths.
know.
Yeah.
It's. I loved it as he's in his bubble bath and he looks up and the ship's coming across.
I think the other three kids could be up for some adventure, but maybe Neil would beat it just to be with them. But I don't think deep down Neil wants the adventure life.
I mean, it'd be
No.
kind of cool,
But
like
they
we
still
see.
have Smee.
That's
That was
Yes.
right.
That was
Yep.
unexpected. I did not
It
expect that.
was.
So
I told you Smee was gonna be fine.
and I had no. I was
I
like,
I
predicted
mean,
his
it's not
that.
head.
necessarily fine. He is still carrying his head around because
I told you guys Smee was gonna be
But
KB like
fine.
fused the one wire together to get him to function.
but this is the same thing. Like we care about what happens really after, but kids don't. They're like, oh, he's alive. Like us, really. If I was their parents, I'm like, get this dirty old pirate robot away from my kids. Put that down. Like, I wouldn't want that coming in my house. You don't need this creepy uncle type robot coming into your house, teaching you to smoke cigarettes and stuff like that. It's just bad influence.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah,
that was my prediction, though. I predicted Smee was gonna be fine
you
because he's a
did, you
droid.
did, and I was like,
Mhm.
I don't think so. There's not gonna be enough time to repair him. They didn't even have to repair him. They just held his head up.
Yeah, just held his head.
But
He was
that's what I
flying
said.
the
That's for
ship.
the kids. That's easy. Oh, he's still kids love that. So, I mean, we loved it
Yeah.
too, but we didn't need it. Kids don't need an explanation, like what happens to them and stuff. But
So are we moving on to the whole series now? To
yeah, sure,
what
go
we think
ahead.
of the entire series?
Unless you don't want to talk about anything else about that episode itself, but I do want to say one thing. When the X-wings came back and like started helping, I don't know what happened to me, but I felt some emotion. Like it hit me. It's like, oh, it's cool to see my X-wings come back with the Ak-X foils into position. That really like made me feel like this is officially like really my Star Wars, and I really enjoyed that scene. They just, although I don't think opening fire on a giant ship above a town was smart. You see it crashes down. As soon as it starts shooting, like, what are you doing? Like,
wait, but also B wings too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
right.
B wings come
B
too.
wings are cool too, and the B wings took me more to Rebels because that's the only time you see them firing their super laser. At least I don't know if you see them fire the super laser in live action ever until then. But
I thought
both
Return
of
of
those,
the Jedi they did.
I don't know if
Very
they had the super
briefly.
laser. They're
I
in
think
it.
maybe only
Just real
one.
quick.
That super laser part. I don't know if they did that in Return of the Jedi. I thought that was like added for Rebels.
It might have been. I was actually watching Return of the Jedi before I got on.
But that scene did it brought some emotion, and I was like, oh god,
It was cool, but I was hoping like there was going to be like, a cool cameo.
I think we got a cameo, but for the sequel trilogy, that one alien, I don't know, it kind of looks like a mushroom. He's a pilot in like the Force Awakens. I do know that.
Yeah, that could have been EOSD.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So that was the only thing that might have been a cameo, but for the sequel trilogy. But it was a really cool scene, and it made me elicit emotion more than any other scene in this series. So it kind of caught me off guard. Like, what's happening to me? It's like, oh, I really like X-wings that much.
But the other thing too is we know Vane escapes, so we do know that this is at least pre-Mandalorian season 3.
We
So
know
then
Vane is in Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
How do we know that?
Because he was in Mandalorian season 3.
This could be before Mandalorian season 3.
That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying he's in Mandalorian season 4?
Vane?
Yeah, this could be the end of Vane. Why do you know he gets out?
I guess that's true.
I thought you knew something.
No, I was just thinking this was before Mandalorian season 3 because we don't see Vane go down.
Yeah, well, I think this could be after Mandalorian season 3. That's the thing. I think
possible when he escapes, he decides to go into a different crew.
Well, I mean, they could all get arrested, and we've seen jailbreak several times in Star Wars now, so they could escape something like that.
Lots.
So, especially when you have a Jedi who's arrested who could hide his force powers, might be pretty easy. Might be pretty easy for him to escape. So, yeah, they could escape, but I thought you heard something like he's in Grogu, Mando, or something else, but no.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We don't. I mean, he didn't. He pieced out on Lettucehead, whatever his name is, that was in. Um, I'd be stout with
Let us
that
hit.
going down.
You know what though? But that would make a lot of sense why the crew would love Jod as the leader of the pirates. Because if you have a force sensitive pirate um, captain, that's very handy for a
Yeah,
pirate
I mean
captain.
it's worked for them until they got to a ship that didn't have any credits, and then
Right.
Right,
the Wolfman caused a mutiny.
right. But he was just a
Ha-
mutinous.
have we ever seen a movie that's like heavy with pirates and not have a mutiny? There's always a mutiny whenever you're heavy with
That's kind of
pirates.
part of the
Like,
code.
that's kind of
Yes,
part of it.
it
It's
is.
expected. It's expected.
Think about that the other day. Like every single time this mutiny, but it makes sense. They're
Yeah.
scoundrels. All right, for the series.
For the series.
What are your thoughts?
I loved it. It was great. There wasn't one episode that I didn't like.
There was that one episode.
Yeah, that
I'm just
one.
kidding.
I think
I was
I
gonna
already.
say I'm waiting for Mike to like clarify this because as far as I remember, Mike has enjoyed every episode.
Yeah, I've liked every episode. I thought it was a good series, so I'm not gonna say it was.
It was
Uh,
a very
it was a good.
refreshing series.
I think it was
Yeah,
a great series for kids. Great for kids. It was great for nostalgia. Great for '80s adults, '90s adults. Um, I think it's a good series for people in general. Um,
You know what? I bet Mike will like it more once they start adding more stuff to help tie it in for you. Because really, when you think about it, it really doesn't have much at all to tie it into other Star Wars stuff, except
right.
That we know of, yeah.
lore. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing we get was the supervisor said Jedi told us, or we got a mission to say Jedi are traitors. That's about all the tie-in we get. And I know Mike
And I love that
loves
part.
tie-in.
I
That
loved that part.
that
Well,
Yes,
and
gets
there
him
could
going. That gets his motor running.
sure does.
and there could be those announcements, from Lucasfilm panel at Celebration because they're gonna have one.
Oh, but yeah, that means
Outline
nothing
things, and
though.
then
They, I love that one picture where Kathleen Kennedy's in front of it's like 8 movies on there. We got like 3 of them.
yeah, but there's still some of those that are in the works.
Yeah, we'll see. I think I kind of said I think it was a good series for us fans who are nostalgic fans. It was a safe series, good series, better for kids. I think kids like it more than us. There was nothing epic about it that made me like love it, like Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2. Like those were like super epic and really made me love it. I liked it. I'll watch it again a few times, but it's not something I'm going to like. I have to go watch it, something like that. But it's definitely safe. And you know what? I needed a safe Star Wars. We've had a couple of
Bombs.
bombs, yeah, and so this is good. And
Yeah, but what do you consider a bomb? Like critics bombing it, or what?
I didn't like Acolyte at all. Like Acolyte to me, like I
Yeah, I
still don't
really like
understand it.
Acolyte.
I did. Yeah, this is there was nothing safe about Acolyte. I mean, they took a lot of risk, and some people liked it, and some people didn't like it. But see that this one, I mean, not having a protagonist, I don't know how you have a show without a protagonist, but they didn't have one. And so this one's a nice, safe one, and I enjoyed it. Nothing on the epic scale for me though, so I can't say I'm not giving it 5 out of 5 holocrons or anything like that, but definitely I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. I
The
agree.
thing I didn't like was the episode. I mean, if they would have released this all at once, or maybe as a movie, I would have probably liked it even more. But it took a little bit away every week, just like, oh, these are so like I think some were like 27 minutes. I have to take off the credits and the intro. They got really short for a lot of stuff happening on this 27 minutes. But other than that, yeah, I definitely enjoyed it.
Bryce.
Oh, I already said I really enjoyed it. Can you not see me, hear me? Am I frozen? Oh, I am frozen.
Yeah.
So
Moving
we
really
think
slow.
if you were to guess, put money on it. Are they going to make another season?
No,
No.
I think it's a one and done.
It's definitely can be a one and done, but I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping they find a way to tell
Would
some kind
you?
of a
That's
story
not.
or
You have
continue.
You have $100 house money. Would you bet that they're doing it? Yes or no?
100 bucks?
No,
Yeah, I'd bet that.
Uh, yeah.
no.
That's a tough one,
I
man.
would
Like
bet that.
I'm almost on the same boat. Like I want to, but I don't know. I guess.
I would spend it on milk, on blue milk.
I would probably say I bet they don't do it. Just because I think Lucas is going to start realigning the vision. I think it has to get to movies again, the theaters. And so I think, especially, we don't have a lot of stuff in series production. When you hear all the rumors, those are like movies. I don't really hear too many rumors about series. We do have a confirmation of Ahsoka series too, but that's not a rumor. That's a confirmation. And so, like,
It
other
should be
series,
filming right
yeah,
around Celebration is when they start filming.
yeah,
I thought it was
yeah.
April of this year.
I think they said the summer, so maybe they'll start right around April. So, but yeah, other than that, there's nothing really on dock for streaming Star Wars. So I think maybe if I were to
We'll
bet,
get something animated. I think
I
we'll get
hope.
something animated.
I did hear rumors of animated stuff. I heard even 2 animated series, but we'll see.
Yeah, I
I
could
mean,
get Visions, a third volume or
I think
season
we're
or
gonna
whatever you
keep
want to
getting
call it,
those
Visions.
anthology
And
type things. It's easy for them, especially because Visions, essentially, other people make that. They're like,
yep,
here, they give other people doing it, they make it, so they don't have to do nothing except proof it. I guess make sure it's
right.
Mhm.
in
Yeah,
their vision. But other than that, like, they need to make some animation. I mean, they really need to get something
we could
episodic.
get another Tales. We could get another Tales. Those are short.
Honestly, they could be doing a more adult version of that one you guys like, the Young Jedi Adventures.
Oh, I
Make it
like the Young
Rebel
Jedi.
style, make them grown up a little bit. I'd be really into that. But
Yeah, I'm a different High Republic, but the Young Jedi Adventures is like
I liked it.
children.
Look, I have my
I
skeleton crew.
yeah I love
Don't-
that show, but that's it's pre Nile actually.
Oh
If
yeah.
you think about it, it's actually pre Nile. It's pre. I mean, it could be pre Path of the Open Hand. Like we,
Yeah. Oh no, because isn't
No,
It's
yeah,
during the Nile time.
it's got to
they
be
got the
done. Yeah,
dog,
right, because
Charnel,
Bell's
whatever.
Yeah.
Bennifer and Loden Greystorm are there. So yeah,
It's during the Nile time because they have the they go to the opening of
Starlight
the
Beacon. That's right.
the Starlight Beacon.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. So,
And their
Because,
one
yeah, they
villain,
meant
their one
The
villain
kids
guy
weren't
is
there at the closing of Starlight Beacon.
no. They were there
That
at
would
the
have been a good
opening.
episode.
Shut up, John. They were there at the opening.
wow.
But they have a Nile. They have a little and a villain kid who's like a Nile. He
Oh
has the
really?
helmet.
He's like a little bully.
Yes,
Abor?
yes.
Oh, I don't get Nile vibes from him at all.
Look,
I
Nile. He has a helmet.
Oh my gosh. He has no
Does he
Nile.
have a breather on the helmet?
Yes, he
It's
does,
some kind
and
of
you
Well, I mean, he
respirator.
does.
He
Yes,
does, and you don't recognize his voice.
That was one of the key things with the Nile helmets. They had that respirator, so that's
He
how
has
they
the respirator.
they did their attacks.
See?
He doesn't have any Nile markings on him at all, Mike.
Yeah, it's because he's 6.
What's the first step? 1 strike or 3 strikes?
And one of his crews, a Gamorrean. When have you seen a Gamorrean in the Nile?
He has a crew. Maybe I will
Yeah,
watch
he has a
it.
crew.
I kind of like
Yes,
his Nile
he does
child
have a crew.
and his Gamorrean buddy. Yeah, I kind of
Yeah,
like
it's like a little baby Gamorrean. It's pretty
He has
cool.
a baby Gamorrean, and he's mean to him.
Aw.
Very.
He's very mean to him.
All right, we have gone off the rails.
We have gone off the rails. The little Nile,
right,
a little
let's-
baby Nile.
let's pay some bills. Which one am I doing? All right.
Hyperspace Props are the official sponsor of the Not So Virtual Cantina Special Edition in Japan. Pre-order your credits and cosplay props at www.hyperspaceprops.com. Use the code NSVCSE for 10% off your order now.
10% off.
10.
Really appreciate you guys' patronage for them. They help us out a lot.
Yes. Be sure you're following us on YouTube at Virtual Cantina Network, Instagram at virtual.cantina network, X, formerly Twitter, at Cantina Virtual, Threads at virtual.cantina network, Hive at Virtual Cantina, and TikTok, at least until January 20th, at Virtual Cantina, and the VCN Star Wars Cantina Celebration Japan 2025 Facebook page. And shout out to our sister pages, Star Wars Book Nerd and Star Wars Comic Book Club. You need to put bigger
This
letters on those so I
is
can read it.
the last episode for our after shows for the Skeleton Crew. We had a fun ride with you guys all. Go back and watch them all. Like, comment on any of them. You can see some of our predictions. Some of them are on, and then some of them are way off. My first prediction was that John was going to have a redemption arc until last episode, and then he became Long John Silver. And so, yeah, so some of them were good, some of them were bad. I'd like to go back and even see some of our hot takes and be like, what were we thinking?
Mhm.
What was Mike wearing? Questions like that. I would like to, so please go back, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Really
Or what
appreciate
wasn't Mike wearing?
that.
Ooh.
That's a different show. That's our other show. That's our Patreon show.
Oh, and Teek says bye too.
Right, Teek. Luke, say bye. Luke,
He wants credits.
Say bye.
Teek wants credits. Teek wants credits.
Yeah, this Teek got some credits and looks like he's 8, not like the other one.
This is
right.
is Money Pouch. Stop your nasty thoughts.
I never thought of anything else. All right, thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.
Live
May the
long and
Force be with you.
prosper.